Well, good evening, everybody. I'm really excited for tonight's stream. Welcome in all. If you bear with me just a little moment, I want to try something a little different this time. Let me see if we get this working. Because I was thinking, why the hell not do a little start facecam thingy this time, so you get to see me and a little bit of my collection behind me, because yeah, looking at all the old hardware can get boring a bit, maybe, I'm not sure. So yeah, this is an experiment, see if this works out for me, for you, for everybody. If it doesn't, we'll just switch back to the old formula and only focus on the hardware. Today I will take you along a trip, a socket 3 trip actually, a bit of a showdown between all kinds of 486 and advanced 486 CPUs. Let's see which one is actually the fastest in several different benchmarks. As you can see in the screen, we have a nice setup ready to go. We've got the Zida 4 DPS version 2.11 motherboard, a baby AT motherboard with PCI and ISO slots and a socket 3 of course. It supports both 5 volts and 3.3 volts CPUs, which is what we need for this test, because some of the CPUs are 3.3 volts, some are running at 5 volts. In the motherboard we have 2 times 8 megabytes of fast-paced RAM, 72-pin modules. We have an Tseng ET4000AX. I will show you around in just a bit, and an Audiowave Platinum 16, rather rare and unknown sound card. Most people would be using a Sound Blaster or an Ad-Lib card back in these days, but I've managed to secure this on one of the auction sites, and it's working really well actually. And as storage, we're running IDE to compact flash adapter with MS-DOS 6.22, and we will be using the Phil's bench set from I'm not sure what the website was actually. Let me look it up. Phil's Computer Lab. He's made a nice collection of benchmarks to run, which we will be running. As you can see, I'm not used to having a camera, so I'm not actually looking into the camera at all, but that should be hopefully fine, because we'll be switching away from it real quick, because let's go into what the focus really should be on, which is the hardware. And let's move on to that one. As you can see here, we've got a little setup. The motherboard, the DX33 is already in there. In between the cables you can see the memory modules, the ET4000 and the Audiowave Platinum. Right here is the SD card, the compact flash card, my bad. Little power supply, and I've got the floppy drive still connected because I was using some floppies to install several things. So what shall we say about firing it up right after we take a look at the contestants once more? We have this Intel 486 DX33 already installed. We've got it's a bit nasty with where's the camera? There it is. With a cooling paste residue, which it doesn't really need. It's an Intel Blue Lightning DX2 66. We have a Texas Instruments 486 DX2 80. We have an AMD 486 DX4 100. We have an AMD 5x86 P75. And we have the Pentium OverDrive 83, which, as you can see, is quite a big package. It comes with its own cooler. And let me move you over to the bench scene real quick. There's the VGA, but there's nothing on there yet. As you can see in the bottom here, we've got the benchmark overview for every CPU. We'll be running a DOOM benchmark, 3D bench, PC player benchmark, SpeedSys, Norton system info, top bench and Quake. We'll see how much time that takes. If time permits, we could, because I forgot I ordered more, we could eventually see if we can figure out which of these three, because I managed to secure three AMD 5x86s is fastest. Maybe if we can even overclock one to 160 megahertz instead of the 133 it's supposed to be running on. But we'll see about that when it gets when we get there, and if we have time left. So shall we fire up the system and run our first couple of benches? Just move over to the VGA scene so you can see the nice little boot sequence. I've been having a couple of issues with the VGA to HDMI adapter. There's a little loose contact in there somewhere, because that means we might be losing our red sometimes. So you might see that in some of the benchmarks, but that should be solvable quite easily. So let's see about our benches, shall we? It was DOS bench, I think. Yeah, DOS bench. Let me grab the bench scene real quick so we can actually see what benches we were supposed to run. Let's start with a little DOOM benchmark. These benchmarks run without audio because it will be a pretty nasty sound from DOOM, at least when running faster, and well, it might get a bit old if we run it time after time. So that I will try and talk over these benches a little bit. But let's fire up a little DOOM minimum details benchmark, be A. Let's see what happens. We have red, so that's good. It's running the demo in a very, very small screen. This might not be the most useful benchmark, especially with the later CPUs, but we'll see about that. It keeps running. Let's talk a bit about this CPU, the 486 DX33. It was the first DX CPU, and what the difference between the 486 DX and the predecessor, actually, or the cheaper variant, the SX, was that the DX had a math and floating point coprocessor built in. 35.63 frames per second for DOOM. Let's put it in our benchmark. Where is my notepad? There it is. 35.63. And the next one is the 3D bench. Let's run the 3D bench. Superscape VGA benchmark version 1.0. Look at those fancy 3D graphics. But yeah, the It was a relatively simple 486 CPU. It runs at 33 MHz with no clock multiplier, so the bus and the CPU run at the same speed. And many early gamers, the ones playing Doom and Civilization, Doom 2, were playing on the DX33 or DX40. It scores a 15.8 on the Superscape benchmark. Let's put that in as well. So let's get to the PC player benchmark now. More 3D fanciness. It's actually not looking too bad. It's just very, very choppy. Yo Raz, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, mate. You just missed a little FaceTime with me. I think it says 5.4 there, but because we are losing a bit of signal because the capture card can't really handle these resolutions very well, or at least the scan rate, which makes it all shift a bit to the right, but that should be fine. You should be able to see everything. 5.4, good. Let's set the basics for all this. Next one is the speed sys, and it's option N. Speed sys 4.78. These were all benchmarks run a lot in back in the days, and they were pretty fancy for what they are. Memory speed, year 2000 bug, checks every device. Memory speed bandwidth, 33.75 megabytes per second for the memory. Can you imagine? It's testing the CPU as you speak. You see a nice little bar with all the different kind of CPUs. It should end up somewhere between the 386 DX40 and the 486 DX250. There's the 5x86 there. And the Pentium 133, it goes all the way up to an Athlon 600 or K63 500. What did it say? 12.51 on the speed sys. I have two keywords in front of me and I keep typing on the wrong one. That's fun stuff. Okay. It's now testing all the extended memory, which is not really something we should bother with, but let's just have it finish. It passed. Good. Let's cancel the rest of the tests and move on to Norton System Info 8.0. Well, that's already the 8th version of System Info. This one should also have a little benchmark. Let's see if we can. As you can see, goofing around with the cable occasionally returns our reds. I want to go to the benchmarks. See, let's do the CPU speed because that's what we're measuring here, right? This computer scores. Yo, Mr. DeFace. How are you doing, Mr.? Razil all settled in back at home. This one scores a 72.2, which is actually 1 point higher than the actual DX33 score recorded, which is 71.2. So this should be providing a nice list eventually. Let's quit that one and do the second to last, the top bench. Where is top bench? Where did it go? It's M. This one keeps running until we stop it. It's a 16-bit real mode x86 benchmarking suite. So it scores 75 on the top bench. Let's jot that down. And let's go for Quake. And don't expect too much from Quake with this CPU. You'll see why I said that. 3D acceleration wasn't a thing back then, so everything had to be done by the CPU. The graphics cards, the VGA cards, were only doing the actual putting up pixels on the screen, but the CPU was the one determining where all the pixels were supposed to go. And as you can see, running Quake on a DX33 wasn't really playable. I wouldn't want to play my games like this. It's pretty much a slideshow. Care to hazard a guess about how many frames we end up with per second on average? But yeah, this CPU's, well, the baseline for our testing. Our motherboard doesn't have a built-in multiplier jumper, so we will see how it turns out running the DX2 in a bit. How it works, the naming of the DX2. I just explained what the DX was compared to the SX, right? But the DX2 is actually running the CPU, so the core, all single core, at double the speed of the bus of the rest of the motherboard. So everything is running at 33 megahertz, and the CPU is actually running at twice 33, so 66 megahertz. But we'll see if that ends up having double the speed. That's why I'm making this list, because it will be a fun display of the capabilities of each of these CPUs. As I said, 3D acceleration wasn't really a thing back then. It took quite a while before that popped up. The first real 3D acceleration was pretty much the Voodoo cards, the 3dfx Voodoo cards, which were add-on cards to your normal VGA cards. So you had to pass the signal from the VGA card through the Voodoo card to your monitor. So normal 2D applications, or the ones that didn't support the 3dfx Glide API, were running on the normal video card, and the 3dfx the Glide applications were running on the Voodoo. I have a working Voodoo 2 card, which is currently sitting in my AMD K62 system. We'll do a showcase of some nice Voodoo games and Voodoo Quake, GL Quake, sometime. Because something else that those Voodoo cards did, that 3dfx Glide did, was making the graphics a lot smoother. They did a bunch of anti-aliasing and buffering, filtering, which made the picture a lot smoother. Some actually found it to be too smooth, too buttery, too smeary. But yeah, most people really enjoyed the way it made it look. Let's wait for this to finish. The next one should be a little faster. But we should be nearing the end of it now. I would say we end up at about 6 or 7 FPS. Well, not even that. 3.8 frames per second on average for Quake, which is not really a lot of frames per second. I wouldn't even play a game at 10 times that nowadays on my game PC. 38 FPS is still a bit low, on the low side. But that concludes the benches for this initial CPU, our baseline, the DX33. So let's quit out of Quake, quit out of this one, shut down the PC and replaced it with the IBM Blue Lightning 46 DX2 66. Let's move you over to the main scene so you can see what I will be doing. As always, I will be removing the power feed from the PSU power supply unit before doing anything. It's not always really necessary, but it's just a precaution I take all the time. So let's remove the DX. It's a bit on the warm side, but nothing to be worried about. I'm guessing it's a nice 30-35 degrees. So this is the IBM Blue Lightning. It should be running at the exact same jumper settings as the DX33. Let's see if we can get it in. Yeah. These let me show you. The CPU had not that much pins, but the risk of having so little pins was actually being able to bend them real easily. So they were very fragile, those pins. And once bent, they could also break very, very easily. And if you broke off pins from the CPU, well, you're pretty much screwed. Let's see what happens with this one. If it boots, if it detects it. As you can see, let's pause it real quick there. We have a, it actually detects it as a Cyrix 486 DX2S CPU at 66 MHz. So let's see what is going to happen if it continues the post at least. Well, no. This is unexpected. Yo, Strider. Let's try that once more. Should this not work, I should have a Texas Instruments DX2 66 to run as well. And I will need to, and I will go right away. Go and look that one up quick. Already found it. That was quick. I knew exactly where to look. Let's give it. Well, there isn't really any plug and play going on here. I'm not going to reset the entire BIOS every time. So let's see if this TI feels like working a bit better than the DX2 66 from IBM. I was pretty sure I tested all these beforehand, but this one has also feels like a bit crooked pins. This one slides in a lot easier, a lot smoother. Let's see about the Texas Instruments CPU. Strider, good to see you, mate. See if this one does feel like moving on. Well, now, This is annoying. Let's put the DX33 back in, see if that does still feel like booting, or that we managed to screw up something else altogether. Hold on while I replace that one real quick. This was supposed to be a very smooth stream. Yup, this one just, or at least I heard that floppy drive initialize. But yeah, we already tested this one, so it's not really useful. Let me go and do a quick googly. See what happens and what could possibly go wrong. Well, it tells me to really actually go fix some things in the BIOS. So let's do that, shall we? Let me see if we can locate the BIOS reset. But well, you know what? Let's just remove the battery. Now the battery is in a pretty annoying little clip. It's going to be hard to remove. Let's locate that. What should we go? What do we call it? The BIOS reset jumper, which should be CMOS clear jumper 6, which is, where is it? All the way next to the keyboard. Connector. So let's put you aside. Let's put in a new CPU. Let's try the IBM once more, because it probably didn't have anything to do with the CPU. And it should be that jumper over there. As you can see, I already didn't follow my own advice and remove the. Is there a jumper there? Yes, there is. Come here. It's going to be annoying if we have to do this every time, but because it doesn't start when the jumper is in. It does? Okay, interesting. Let's see what happens to that. Or does it just reset and not do anything? See what happens. See if we have to fix anything in the BIOS. I don't think we should. We do. Well, now that is annoying. Could just go and we won't be entering the BIOS from here. But let's see if we can sneak in and enter the BIOS and disable this plug and play yet. Because I don't think we will need it. Let's go and see if we can get into the BIOS before anything. Nope, we cannot. So we'll need to fix that with the DX33 installed. I'll do that real quick. This wasn't exactly the flow I had in mind for this stream, but you know, with old hardware, you never know. Well, good to see you all, guys. Really enjoy having you around all the time. Let's head into the BIOS and see where the plug and play. It did reset. Let's just put you on auto. Where did we find the whole plug and play? Settings. I can't find it really. Is it in there? No, it's not. It's not in here either. Where did it go? Let's not know that. Wow, this is annoying. Should also be a jumper in between the PCI slots, which allows us to switch between two BIOSes. Let's try that one real quick, see if that changes anything. It's actually a fancy motherboard that has a dual BIOS option already. See if this one changes anything. But just the same BIOS. Looks like the exact same BIOS. So this is pretty annoying. Why does it not? Oh wait, we do need this one on auto because otherwise we won't have any disk. Let's see if it boots from the compact flash card. None. Was nice. Okay. Yes, let's go get a little hackerman in. None is not true. We're actually having a... I'm not sure which one we should be using, because it is a 1 GB SD card. Great. This is a lot of fun. And it wasn't what I had in mind for this stream. I'm putting the BIOS jumper back. See if that solves this issue at least. Retro hacker man, right? Go find my no, there's not a preset, but it used to work on auto before I started screwing around with that. And it doesn't now, which is annoying. What happened? Let's try it, put it in mode 1. Crap. Let's try putting it in manually. But now it's 528. It shouldn't be 528. It should be a gigabyte. Can we put in 240? See what happens. Are we now once again stuck here? put modern auto for this one. Anything else we should? Doesn't look good. It doesn't. Right. What kind of modes do we have? Well, not the ones we want. Let's try this one more time. See if there's any other settings we need to fix. Let me save this and shut it down. And refit all the cables, just in case we manage to pull one of those. I don't think we have, but let's do it regardless. Pull out the the CF card completely. Stick it back in. Make sure nothing is shorting. This doesn't look very promising. Okay, nope. Let's see if we didn't break the compact flash card altogether. No, the card is still working. I just tossed it in my USB card reader. So that's not the issue. There appears to be something else going on. And what it is. Let's pull out the floppy drive altogether. See if it might be a power related thing. Let's put that floppy power cable into the CF. And try again. I can't change it now. This is odd. Set it to user. Now I can change it. I'll set it to large. I can't change it anymore. Let's try one more auto detect. Which doesn't work. Might be a mode thing. Wait, don't do that. Nope. Computer would just watched the broke the card reader altogether, but that would be strange. Or the IDE cable, but that would also be a weird thing to just break like that. None of these modes work. Don't have to do anything with. Let's disable the floppy drive controller because I pulled it out anyway. Let's try this one more time, and otherwise I need to figure out where I'll put my other. I have one other of these units to figure out where it is, so I can switch it out. Yay for live streams, eh? I don't think this is going to work, so let's take a little peek in my storage cupboard. If I can locate the device. Streaming stuff. That's an SSD. Those are hard drives. There is some boxes here which could contain one, but I'm not sure. That's the GoTech. No, I don't need you. No, I think it's in another PC, so I'll need to check that real quick. Because this one keeps failing on us. Let's shut it down for just a bit. Move you over to the main scene and see in which system I put this unit. I think it is in the semi-built Pentium 3 case. Let me check that real quick if I can get the side panel off. Making too much noise. Well, no, it is not here. So where is it then? I know there's another one. There's also a bracket mounted one in another system, so I could always take that out if I can't find the other unit, which doesn't seem to be the case. So let's do that real quick. It's in a Pentium system I acquired earlier. Yeah, I know, mate. It's on master. It's on primary master. Thanks. Good to see you. Well done. Sure, let's do that. Let's put it on the secondary ID. But it used to work. I reset the BIOS and it stopped working altogether. But let's give that a shot. We can do it. Yeah, it's not there. We know. But it doesn't find it either. No, this one only has a cable select slave or master, and it needs to be on master for a single drive. And it worked before, so it's not that. That's not the case here. It really isn't. Thanks for thinking with me, though. I'll just almost have this other adapter unscrewed. But good to see you, mate. Good to have you hanging out with us. Let's shut you down again. And see about hooking up on that OverDrive. No, I'm really confused by why it happened. So this is the unit we were using, and that's the jumper for the master or slave or cable select. And this is the other. This is a slot mounted one, which is actually a lot easier to use in these PCs, because you can reach the compact flash cards from the backside. Cue funny backside joke. So let's see if that did it. I would have expected the LED to light up by now. Which it doesn't, which is annoying. It doesn't even detect the adapter, so might also be a power thing. which would also be silly, but potentially possible. This power supply is also quite old. Let's put it back in primary. IDE connector and try it once more. Yeah, I've got an old HDD we can use. This is getting quite annoying. Not sure if anything is on there, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Let's move the CPUs to safety before anything happens. Yeah, but the system powers up, so I don't think it is a power thing. So I've got this Hitachi Desk Star. Let me see what the jumper is set to. Should be on master, I think. Let's listen to it. Oh, I don't worry, it just takes a bit of time. Let's listen to the... I can hear it spinning up. But it's not detecting anything. Let's swap the cable and make sure it's not the cable that's being the annoying little brat here. I've got a bag full of cables, so should be able to locate another one. Side, and now I forgot where pin 1 was. Now I can still see it. Yeah, it's the other way around. Try it. CF adapter once more. Still nothing. Could it? Let's turn those back on. See if that changes anything. Whoa, would you look at that? We got it back. See if we can get back into DOS. Oh, wow. Finally my raid alert got a chance to go off. Kingy! Wow. This is unexpected, but really awesome. Let me read up your little compliment rate, as you always do. Trumbo! You're always so supportive in any community that I see you in, and I admire how many areas you seem to have a knowledge in. Well, stick around and see if you can learn something about retro hardware today. Thanks, champ. Good to see you. What were you doing? I don't think I have a actual shout-out command, so what were you playing, mate? Yeah, this is nothing. This is just an MS-DOS screen. Let's... Cool crash. That was a TIE Fighter enemy ship approaching theme. So, but yeah, wow. Hi guys. This is more than what I ever had. Viewers: Triple Butt, Michael, Mindless V, Kingy, Soph, Gato. Thanks for showing up. I hope some of you will stick around and see what we're doing. I'm actually trying to get some benchmarks going for a couple of 486 CPUs. As you can see right here, this is the set of CPUs I'm benchmarking at the moment. But we ran into some issues. Well, what else is new when working with old hardware? You're so young, Kingy. Yeah, this is from before your time, probably. Now this is well, let's see, what did the CPU say? Probably around 93, 94, 95. But yeah, this is we've got a little motherboard here with a CPU, some memory. I've got a pretty modern compact flash adapter. There you can see the video card. Let me move it down just a little bit. And a sound card. This should normally be in a case. And together they run a little PC which runs MS-DOS. But I was in the process of replacing the CPU to see if we could get the second one up and running, because we did some benches for the first one, as you can see here in the bottom of the screen. We're running a DOOM benchmark, 3D bench, PC player benchmark, SpeedSys, Norton System Info, Top Bench and Quake. Quake ran at a grand total of 3.8 frames per second with the DX33. So let's put in the DX2 66 and see if it works again. Shutting it down. Removing the cable. Removing my little friend, the CPU. This is what CPUs used to look like. A bunch of ceramic, a lot of pins. Very dangerous, these pins. They could easily bend and break. Yeah, this is I think the Microsoft Natural keyboard it's called. It was everywhere, especially in offices, but also home offices a lot. I've seen them around a lot. And yet this Microsoft mouse, the bit of a curved mouse to go along with it. It was one of the first, so they called ergonomic mice. So let's see if it feels like booting this time. It did detect the CPU just fine. as you can see there, but it didn't go past this screen and actually load into DOS. Which it doesn't feel like doing now either, it seems, which is annoying, because I don't want to reset the BIOS again completely. So let's just give it a second or two. For those of you new to the channel, which is probably pretty much every one of you, I do keep a set of archives for all my VODs, for all my past streams, but they're all on YouTube, because as a non-partner I don't have very much storage space or storage time on Twitch. So do check out my my YouTube for the VODs and some shorts I've been experimenting with. It's nothing really professional or anything, but I'm just goofing around with it a bit. I'll do a lot of hardware streams, building systems, testing systems, buying a lot of hardware. I've been buying a lot of hardware recently, and I play the occasional game on real hardware. So let's see if we can get into the BIOS and get this shit reset. Alright, champ, thanks for raiding. It was unexpected. We can't even get into the BIOS, so we'll need to reset the BIOS again via the jumper. You go have a movie night, have a fun movie night. What are you watching? And thanks again for being my my first raid. You took my raid virginity, Kingy. Well, if anybody, it should be you, right? So you will notice that occasionally I forget to switch scenes. So I'm actually doing some jumper switching around on the in the background, but I forgot to switch scenes, so you won't see it right now. So now I have reset the BIOS. See if we can get in at all. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It might actually turn out we will have to skip the DX266 CPUs and go straight to the DX280. See if we can get that to work. And that will require a bit of goofing around, flipping some jumpers. Because I don't see how and why this one refuses to work. It's just not going past this screen, which is bloody annoying, but we'll have to live with that. And we'll just have to skip the DX266 and go for the DX280. Let's just give the TI one more chance. I've also got a Texas Instruments DX266. And if that refuses, we'll just, well, give up on the DX266 once. It seems to be doing the exact same thing, so. Google once more. This is annoying. You know what? Let's try one more thing. Let's remove the sound card from the equation. See if that is an issue. We don't need sound for these benchmarks anyway. So let's remove that one. Might have to edit the config.sys and the autoexec.bat for that, but that's okay. Let me see if I'll have to mute it, but that's okay. Power it up again without the sound card. Well, 1.5 hours in. We're not really making any progress. It is still not doing what I wanted to do. Yeah, the board supports everything. Well done. I've actually tested all the CPUs, but I don't think I have tested them beyond this. Maybe. Let's try one more thing in removing the IDE and the floppy drive cables all together. See if that makes it go past the PMP screen. Yeah, I just did. It's still not doing anything. So there's something funky going on. They should be using the exact same jumper settings as the DX33. If you want, you can look at the manual with me. Let's put in the DX33 one more time. Just to make sure it's still running. Yeah, the jumper should do the exact same thing, right? But we can try it. Sure. So we try that? Let's try that. Put it back in. Let's pull out the battery and give it a go. It does boot with the battery out. It's still not moving to the BIOS. It's just stuck here on the plug and play BIOS extension for some reason. This is without the battery installed. So it's not that either. There isn't anything that could be causing a short. It is getting rather frustrating by now. So I'm about to ditch the DX2s altogether. Let's just see. yeah, the DX33 goes to the BIOS straight away. Which is stupid. So let's try the DX280. See what happens with that one. Let me show you what I will be doing. Putting in the CPU first. Clickety click. And now we need to check out how to set the CPU frequency jumper 19 and 18 to 40, which 19 and 18 are, where are they? This is jumpers 9, 11, 7, 17 and 28. 19 and 18 should be over there. Should be hard to see for me. It's twice 3, which it shouldn't be, which is odd. RT! Wow! A little subby sub. Thanks, mate. Actually, the first one. My sub virginity. My raid virginity has been taken. Now my sub virginity. Thanks, champ. Good to have you. Sorry. Can't help it, mate. So let's take a little look. Yeah, I think the Intel is actually, because it detected the Intel the IBM just fine, but should I try the Cyrex DX2 settings? Let's see what happens. The IBM should be an Intel, but let's go try that. Let's give it one last chance. One last chance to dance. Well, this was supposed to be a very smooth sailing benchmark stream, but it is having none of that. So let's see about these jumpers. It should be these ones and these ones over here. That is, yeah, those are jumpers 6, 14. Those should be filled. Let me grab my box of jumpers. I have plenty of jumpers, so it should be no problem. And there should be 3 more in there. In the middle. But yay, I've got my first subby sub, and it's my buddy RT. RT here makes wonderful music, so you should go check him out on Spotify. Another one! Raz! Woo! You guys are testing my alerts, aren't you? Yeah, RT is a musician, a gamer, a buddy of mine, and well, all round awesome fellow. So go check out his music. And Raz, thanks mate for the Prime sub. Raziel is also a streamer. I really need to figure out a shout out command, I guess. So Raz is yeah, also a streamer, streams a lot of Star Citizen lately. And well, some, well, a lot of other games. Yeah, both these gentlemen are also part of the Gents with a D, DJENTS, and they will be streaming tomorrow evening, I think. Mostly starting off with some Wreckfest and ending up with another game. Occasionally it's some Ready or Not. It could be some what's the weed game called again? As you can hear, I was absolutely not prepared for any raids, and schedule 1, yeah, that's the one. And subs, so you all caught me by surprise. Should be like that, and one more right below that. Hey Bear, good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining us. We are getting a little frustrated with some hardware, but we will survive and hopefully get some stuff running. So that should be it for the jumpers. Let's see what the system thinks of that. Yeah, everybody meet well done. Well done was, I think it's your first time here. I haven't seen you chat before, but he is, he? She? They? What, how should I address you? It's being very helpful in trying to diagnose the issues. Well, it seems to be posting. And still detecting the CPU. We are getting into the BIOS. So we are making progress. Thanks. Well done. Yeah, so I saw you following me earlier. Great. We're mainly doing some, well, frustrating. Currently, it's being rather frustrating, some hardware diagnosing, but we should be doing some benchmarks, and we are getting closer to actually being able to do that again. So let me hook up the Comic Flash adapter again. Thanks for the follow. I have anonymous followers on for the announcements at least, so people won't see who that was. I have a suspicion who that was, but let's see if we can get Fraz! Biddies! I never saw you come in, mate. How are you doing, buddy? Let's see about getting this HDD detected. It does. So we should be... Wow. Better to be lurking than not to be here at all, I say. Right? So, we should be getting into MS-DOS again. And finally, thanks a bunch to well done, finally get back to benchmarking. So, as you can see in the bottom, we have had our DX33 bench. So let's go ahead and get this DX2 66 benched. Get some move on. Starting off with a little Doom. This is already noticeably faster, but as I said before, this might not be a very good benchmark for the later CPUs on this smaller screen, because it could probably be running into some bottlenecks with other elements. I'm not sure how fast the Doom engine can actually run, what its max frame rate is. Excuse me for hitting the mic there. But I'm really happy to be benching again finally. I was getting a bit nervous and a bit sweaty about that. But yeah, can you imagine people actually play Doom like this? On such a tiny screen? I can't. A Pentium OverDrive, you mean, Walton? I do. It will be the last one we test. You mean this one? But yeah, let's put in the Doom result. It's not that much of an improvement, but it is an improvement. 42.37. Let's move on to the 3D bench. Yeah, I've made sure I've have a nice selection for benching. You can see the entire list in the top right of the screen. It was DX33, DX2 66, DX2 80, DX4 100, a AMD 5X 86, P75, and the Pentium OverDrive 83. Let's see what this turns out to be. The other one was 15. My Dutch is coming through. 15.8. This one is at 20.8, so a noticeable improvement here as well. Third one was a PC player benchmark, which is number 5. This is also a lot faster. Yeah, and in some cases the DX2 66, as mentioned, was actually twice as fast, but there was also always the issue of other parts still running at 33 MHz because the bus speed was 33 and the CPU itself was running at a 2.0 multiplier, so running at 66. This one scores a 9.4. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit hasty now because we lost a lot of time trying to diagnose all the issues. Really interested to see what Quake will turn into, because it was really unplayable on the DX33. Let's run a little speed sis. What we're running now is a IBM Blue Lightning DX266, which is a one of IBM's own developments of the DX2, Intel's DX266, and they tried to optimize them for their workstations, and many of these actually ran a lot better than Intel's and AMD's and even Texas Instruments. So this one scores 28.66. We're looking at the speed benchmark in the bottom left there, the bar with all the processor names on it. And the other one, this is actually a very big improvement over the other one, because the DX33 scored 12.51. So let's go to Norton System Info, which is K. Let's go to the benchmarks, no, not to help, and do the CPU speed benchmark. This one is running at 113.4. But yeah, I love this, guys. Great to have so many people around all of a sudden. It got me a bit flustered at first. Kingy raiding in with 50 people. My first subbies, my first biddies. It's all happening. Great, guys. I'm really loving this. These streams of mine are really just doing the stuff that I enjoy doing. Goofing around with hardware, playing some games, some retro games on old hardware. And hopefully some people actually enjoy hanging around and joining me for this. Watching me do this, listening to me babble on about all this stuff. Did I write this down? Yes, I did. So we'll do a little top bench, which is M. Top bench score is fluctuating a bit, about between 94 and 95. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt and put in 95. And last but definitely not least, we will be running some Quake. It's not a completely honest comparison right now because this is also still relatively unplayable. We removed the sound card from the equation, but these demos were played without sound anyway, so I don't think it's going to matter all that much. But yeah, we're finally back up and running. So you know what? Since we've got this this one configured now anyway, let's put in the Texas Instruments DX2 after this one. Let's see if that actually changes anything. Let me add a line to the bench overview real quick. Remove the values. While Quake is running in the background, not being very fast. Oh, TI is caps lock on. Yes, it is. Let's see if there's any difference between the IBM and the Texas Instruments variants, because we might as well now, right? So yeah, really happy with this system running again. We had some issues with the CPUs. After that we ran into some issues with the compact flash card adapter, but it's all running. And there's people here watching it run and fail at the first time, but that's okay. So yeah, yay. Watching some Quake. Watching some Doom. Fun times. I've had so much fun playing Quake back in the day. I will be, probably, because it's awesome, be doing some GL Quake. Yeah, well, running is a is a big word, but I will probably be playing some GL Quake on the Voodoo 2 in another stream. 5.9 frames per second. It's not really running, it's more like stuttering. But it's an improvement. It's a noticeable improvement over the 3.8. So let's toss in the Texas Instruments. Yeah, it walks. It stumbles around with a cane. Let's see about this Texas Instruments and see if all the IBM engineering really made a difference. You might have noticed that I haven't yet, and if you look at the VGA scene, not the VGA, this one, you see I haven't put a cooler on any of these CPUs yet. Yeah, the overdrive, since it's actually a Pentium core, will be running pretty decently, I expect. These CPUs didn't really need a cooler. They didn't get really hot. Starting at the AMD 5x86, we will be running with a cooler because, yeah, it's troubles of it's actually generating a lot more heat than the other ones. The DX4 100 should be fine for a couple of benches, but I think I will put on the cooler just in case. Let's go do some more benching. No, most of them don't. Doom. Let's start with Doom. See what happens. Yeah, the what's it called? The ceramic top layer of the CPUs is actually pretty cool. But yeah, those the Pentium OverDrive does really need a cooler. And after that, well, you all know everything needs a cooler. Interesting to know. Most CPUs didn't come with any form of thermal protection before the, I guess, the 2000s. I think the AMD Athlon XP and the Intel Core systems, or Pentium 4s maybe, were the first ones to actually have some form of thermal protection. When it got too hot, they would shut down or throttle down. Before that, they would just keep on going until they fried. 51.33, that's actually a lot more than the IBM one. Yeah, Texas Instruments and the IBM ones run on the Cyrix jumper settings. Interesting, eh? I expected Texas Instruments to be just more of an Intel. 21.2 is also faster. I kind of expected the IBM one to be faster, but let's go to the PC player benchmark. Which is good to know for the DX280 we're going to test next. Also a 9.4. This is the same score. It's not too strange. Let's do the speed sys check. I expected this one to come out a bit at the same, probably 28, 29. Oh, this one is lower. How interesting. 26.91. Well, we don't need to test the memory, but it's already doing it. Yeah, it could be that, but the drivers are loaded, but just fail to detect the sound card. I'm not sure what that means, if they get unloaded then, or they still stay loaded. Next one is Norton System Information. Okay. Now we'll need to go to the benchmarks. Do the CPU speed benchmark 113.4. It's the exact same. As the IBM. We'll do the top bench. 95 is expected. But yeah, the sound card was removed after the DX33, so finally let's do a little quickie. So it shouldn't, the sound card isn't any different between these two DX2 66s. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I won't be doing that on stream, I guess. I actually have 3 AMD 5x86 CPUs, so we could eventually even try to see if we can get any of them running at 160 megahertz instead of the 133 they're supposed to run on. Yeah, it's hard to say really, but Quake is really dependent on the floating point calculations, so it could be that the IBM is stronger in the floating point, the FPU is a bit stronger. If we had a 486SX CPU, I don't think Quake actually runs on that because it doesn't have a floating point coprocessor like the DX have. I can actually hear the game in my head. Remember every sound these guys make. And the guns make. And the pickups make. It's so much fun playing Quake in co-op. I started off with a DX40, I think, 486. Moved to a Pentium 90 after that. And then after that, I think it was an AMD K6. And I don't remember after that really, but I'm really trying to rebuild my PC history. 5.7. It is slower, you were right. So let's get out of this. Get out of this. Shut it down and yeah. There's a lot of voices in my head, mate. Most of them are telling me to buy even more hardware. So I'm trying to not to listen to them. Because, well, truth be told, I spent a little too much the past half year. So this one should stay on the Cyrex DX2, but we'll need to switch the frequency jumpers, which were 19 and 18 to 40 megahertz instead of 33. The funny thing is, there is no jumper 18 on this one, because we have right here. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit with the cam. not quite where I want it to be, but right here, this is jumper 19, and there should be a jumper 18 right next to it, but it's not there. So that one is probably always closed, which is indeed the case for all these settings, but that would only mean we can't set it to 50 megahertz, but that's okay because we won't be needing 50 megahertz anyway. So let's fix jumper 19 for 40 megahertz. It should be the two right. Jumper pins. Check my orientation real quick, because I might be looking at it the wrong way. CPU in the bottom, right 2, yeah. So it should be this one. And that one. Let's see if I was right. If I wasn't, we'll either not be posting or be seeing smoke. Let's fire it up. See what happens. There was the post beep, which is always good. Look at that. We have a DX2 at 80 megahertz. But we seem to be running into the same same issue. So maybe this one actually needs to be at the Intel settings. After all, let's try that real quick. I don't think Intel actually made it a DX280, but that shouldn't be. We'll figure it out. Real quick. So we have several options now, but the Cyrix at least didn't work, so we'll not use that. There's an AMD option and there's an Intel option. And there's actually two Intel options, one for the DX and DX2 and one for the SL enhanced DX and DX2, but I'm not sure what that means really. So let's just try the regular one first and see what happens. I'll have to remove some of these jumpers. Raz, RT and Duface, if you guys are gonna go. Yeah, it's not a Cyrix, it's a Texas Instruments, so I'm not sure. It didn't run on the Cyrix settings. It had the same issue as before. So let's try the Intel settings just because. And see what the hell is going on here. I'm not sure who Texas Instruments was borrowing from at the time. Maybe they were borrowing from more than one party. Come on, get out of there. It is actually Texas Instruments, but it claimed to be a CX. I saw that, but it wouldn't boot on the CX. So this should be the settings for the Intel. So let's see what happens. The good stuff is these units were actually pretty sturdy, so well, yeah, it claims to be a Cyrix. I see it, but yeah, we're stuck here like this, and we were stuck here at the Cyrix settings as well. So that was annoying. Let's go try those one more time. Switch you over. Yeah, this is a DX2. So I'm using the Cyrix DX2/DX4 option, the top right one from the Cyrix settings. I think I figured. No, never mind. I was thinking I might have goofed around with the voltages, but yeah. But this is still a DX2, so I'm not touching that one. Because I don't want to be running this at 4x multiplier. Actually, 3x multiplier. The fun stuff about the DX4 is it's actually running at 3x multiplier. They wanted to build a DX3 as well, which was running at 2.5 multiplier, but they never got those stable enough to release to the public. That should be that one. This one we have 3 jumpers. But yeah, I haven't really been paying attention to the voltage settings, which is dangerous, but should be okay because we haven't fried anything yet. That one. Yeah, we're still on DX2. DX2 80 running at 40 megahertz times 2. Where is jumper 27? Should be right there. Can't really see it unless I get my big head in front of it. Yeah, it should be fine. That is the 3.3 volt setting. Wait, it's not. Yeah, but that's the motherboard cache. That's not has nothing to do with the CPU cache. I'm not mistaken, for 3.3 volts, this one should be at the bottom too. Yeah, well, I think this is all for the motherboard cache, not for the on-die cache for the CPUs. Should be on there. Let's see what happens. Still posting. That's a good thing. It is still being detected and it's still not doing anything. So you know what just occurred to me? I think the Axel 486 DX33 is a 5-volt processor we've been running at 3.3 volts. So the numbers might be a bit off on that one because of that. But we'll still have to figure out why this one isn't running. Those jumpers are correct. Those ones are correct. The multiplier, or the, what's it called? The frequency is set to 40 megahertz. Yeah, exactly. So it's silly, really, but it is running. And why is it not booting? Triple check all the jumpers, it is still correct. So try putting it in AMD mode, see what happens. Well, let's just put a little Google into it. Yeah, that was let's try that one. We didn't try the Intel enhanced DX2, right? We could also still try that one, but let's do the AMD one first. Those three, that one should go in the middle. Let me put up the cam again. For any of you still hanging out, this is can be a pretty boring part of working with old hardware, but if you bear with me, we should have benchmarks again soon. Let's see, those three and only one in the... Isn't this the exact same setting as the Intel DX? Yeah, it is. Fun. No, that's a good... I don't either. But this AMD setting is exactly the same as the Intel setting, which is fun, but going to give it a little go. One more time. If not, we'll just skip to the really interesting stuff. Nope, not going to happen. Last one to try is the Intel Enhanced option. I didn't check. No, it doesn't. Oh wait, does it? Well, we can't get into the BIOS. The caps lock only works before it hangs on this part, so the plug and play BIOS. Again, which we have proven was really a CPU settings thing. So let's try the SL Enhanced. Just once, and after that we'll just move on. It should be that. That is a very good tip. Also, if you can't get into BIOS, it's also a very good giveaway that something is wrong. No, that's not right. Missing one. Let's see. We get something going this way. No, we don't even get a beep. So it's not really, it's really not enjoying this option. That's just, it's not getting hot, so that's not it. Let's see about getting the AMD DX4 in instead. And skip the DX280 for now. We'll have to switch to that first. Frequency back to 33 megahertz. So we need to pull these two from jumper 19, and now we'll need to select, I think it's the enhanced AMD, which is the exact same again as the Intel enhanced CPU. Oh wait, there's one more jumper we'll need to put in for the enhanced AMD, which is that one. See what happens. beep, which is a proper thing. We have a CPU, and we have it starting DOS, so good things. You know what, let's remove the TI from the list and get on with it with the AMD. And let's see how it runs Doom. It should be pretty fast. If not, it will probably be running into some engine limits. Yeah, we've got action again, which is good stuff. So all in all, this is turning out to be a pretty decent stream night. We've got benches, we've got subbies, we've got biddies, we've got a raid. Stuff is happening. We've got tons of hardware. $33. What? This is interesting. That is lower, a lot lower than the DX2 It is low, actually lower than the DX33. Okay, let's see if that continues. And if so, why? I think I know why. Because I think this one is this CPU is using write through cache instead of write back, or the other way around. Yeah, something is wrong here. Let's see about that. Let's switch the cache type and do it again. It is being detected properly. Let's move it from write through to write back. Yeah, I should be able to check that out with Speedsys or Norton SI, so I'll check with that real quick. But this should be pretty straightforward as well. If this says it's running at 100 megahertz, it should be running at 100 megahertz. Let's check out sysinfo real quick. Yeah, look at that. This is actually showing proper speeds. So let's see if changing the cache type helps. Everything feels a lot faster already. It is a DX4 at 100 MHz, so it should be running at 100 MHz. Which is, as I said before, Funny, because the DX4 is actually running at 3 times multiplier, not 4 times. The AM5X86, which I will be running soon, is running at 4 times multiplier. 4 times 33. This is a lot better. Still not what I expected, but it's a lot better than what the first one did. 46.95. Let's do 3D bench again as well. I expect this one to be in the 20s somewhere this time. This is actually one of the predecessors for the all newer what are the benches called? 22.2. That's better. The ones, the really intense ones. Not sure what they're called anymore. .3D Mark, just 3D Mark. What are we going to end up at? A 9.6, just a bit faster. It's not the improvement I expected over the DX2 66s, but there is an improvement. So there is some how do we call it? My brain is slowly stopping working. This one is running 37.53, which is a lot more now than the previous ones. So yeah, we should be on track. Let's do the system information once again. 197.2. The top bench 94. Could it be the limit for top bench? Of course, we'll need to run a little Quakey. Okay, what does it say? Yeah. Well, 3.3 or 3.45 shouldn't make that much of a difference. So the AMDs are technically also 3.45, and the DX2 66 was also 3.45 volts, but this motherboard only runs at. This feels slow. Sure. Should be able to link in chat. And if not, I'll let it through the other mod. Quake still feels slow, but yeah, as I said, 3D wasn't really these CPU's forte. Well, that's not working. Either DM it or give me the search prompt. I can search for it myself. I don't think I can restore that one. Let's see what Quake ends up at. It feels slow, feels very slow, but oh, I just see stars. 7.3. Oh, okay, so it's faster actually, but it still felt very slow. Let's move on real quick because it's getting pretty late over here to the 5x86. Now the real contenders show up. Let's check to see how hot this one has become. Oh, that's fine. So let's put in the 5x86 and make sure we put our jumpers properly. No, still doesn't work. And the other one just doesn't catch it as well. I think I maybe put it on the wrong way. Okay, so 5x86 needs the exact same jumpers, just one more on the bottom there. Should be that one. Yeah. That should be it. Only let's not forget to put a little cooling on this one. Just in case. It is getting a bit hotter than we expected. Let's fire it up. See the little fanny fan spinning. Move to the bench scene. It is detecting it at 133 megahertz and it's going straight through. Good, good, good. You could also join my Discord and pop it in there. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the voodoo takes over, right? Let's see what happens to Doom with this one. This is feeling a lot faster again. So let's see what this puts out. I would say somewhere over 60. Oh, not that much, over 53.46. Not as high as I expected it to. 3D bench. You're running the slower PCs variants. It might be bottlenecked or something else. $25.6, another increase, which is good. Wrong keyboard. Player benchmark. feel like I'm a bit rushing through the benches right now because, well, it's getting pretty late. I was hoping for the stream to last like an hour, 2 hours, but we're running at 2.5 hours already. We're not done yet. 11.7. We're getting increases, which is good. And expected also. Let's see, this should end up at the exact line of the 5x86, 50.8, which is a noticeable increase over the earlier ones. Let's do the sysinfo from Northern, which it hangs. Nice. Keyboard is not responding. Let's try it again. No, it's not overheating. I've got the cooler on. Might just be some incompatibility. Yeah, it's just it doesn't play well with the Northern system information. Maybe it doesn't support this the CPU. So let's skip that and move to the top bench. Really looking forward to running that Pentium OverDrive next. I think it can be surprising in some benches. I think the AMD will actually be faster in some benches and the Pentium OverDrive will be faster in some benches. 110. Nice. Any guesses on Quake? How much frames will it run? I think it will run at 11 FPS. I haven't done this benchmark yet, so might actually be faster than 11. But yeah, when the explosions start happening, the particle systems are taking their toll on the CPU. Did you know the original Team Fortress was actually a Quake mod? The one on which Team Fortress 2 was based. Yeah, Team Fortress was awesome. Played it a lot. Also played a lot of Unreal Tournament back in the day. Which is still one of my favorite shooters. I don't know, the balance just felt so good on that. So, 11 or 12. That's the bet now. About to see. 9.5. Not quite. And now, last but not least, we will be moving on to the Pentium OverDrive, which is the ultimate solution for your 486 system if you couldn't afford or didn't want to buy a real Pentium system. It actually has more pins than the normal 486 CPUs. Left one is the Pentium OverDrive, the right one is this AMD 5x86. As you can see, there's a lot more pins, so there should be a lot more data passing through all those pins. Let's see what we need to do for the jumpers. Intel Pentium OverDrive. We will need to set those 3, and then we'll need to remove 2 of them. That one. That one. Shit, I dropped it. Oh, find it. Oh, there it is. Really interested to see how, on which benchmarks and how much this one will be better. I'll need to remove that one. This one can run on both 5 and 3.3 volts. It has its own built-in voltage regulator, so it shouldn't matter what we leave it on. So this should be enough for that. It's actually a pretty expensive upgrade back in the day. And it was pretty expensive also to purchase now for me. A beep is a good sign. We have a Pentium OverDrive S CPU at 83 MHz. It runs a lot slower than the AMD, but since it's an actual Pentium core, it should be a lot more efficient in a lot of these benchmarks. So let's see about that, shall we? See if we run into any engine bottlenecks with DOOM. All these 12 pixels on the screen. so little detail like this. I'm not sure if there was any VSync or what should we call it? Resolution, fixed resolution back in the day. 45. Okay. Unexpected. Let me see if this one needs write back or write through cache. Yeah, this one needs the other kind of cache. So let's yeah, it was such an expensive upgrade. Shit, did I miss the BIOS? Yes, I did. This is the first time I got my hands on one as well. Both should be set to right through. This should make it a lot faster. Oh, this one is working. Luckily it is, because I spent, what was it, 90 euros on it. So it better be working. See if this changes anything. I'm just looking at Doom guy's head now, getting bloody, more and more bloodied. No Animal Crossing yet. I think it's faster. Feels faster. Yeah, that's a lot faster. There we go. That's what was expected. 57.76. Let's do 3D bench. See if Norton System Info can work with this one. $24.3, which is, yeah. As I said, some of these could end up lower than the AMD, because, well, both excel in their own fields. I think this one excels in the floating point calculations, so Quake should run a lot faster than on the AMD. But yeah, this was effectively a Pentium processor, but it was 12.1, which is a bit faster than the AMD. Yeah, which was a bit bottlenecked by the socket 3 speed. So yeah, it had to force everything through a socket that was made for 486 CPUs. Let's check out speeds. 61.60. Another winner. Let's see if this one Norton wants to run this one. Yeah, it does. Pentium 84 megahertz. Benchmark CPU speed 264.7. Nice. That is a big increase. Shame it didn't want to run the AMD. Yeah, top bench 102. As you can see, this one is again lower than the AMD score, but it should run Quake a lot better. can see it. This is. I think it should run at about near 20. I think after this I want to do one last thing. I want to see if we can get the 5x86 running at 160 MHz. Yeah, it's such a different CPU. It's not really fair comparing this to the 486 units. It's a completely different architecture. Go on, kill the zombies, and let's get this over with. Not that high as I expected. 12.2 FPS. Yeah, definitely. What do you say we try and get the AMD running at 160? Just because. Just because I have two more, so no. Let's see about these jumpers again. Should have done this before. But yeah, I'm not a very effective man, efficient man. Just someone who thinks up new ideas on the fly all the time, which is fine, but also can be quite chaotic at times. Okay, we will need to put that. Yeah, it should be able to. 40 megahertz should be the two right ones. The middle one. I think we can get it to run on 160 megahertz. Yeah, we'll need to fix that on that. Good call. Let's see if it posts at all. I need to put the fan on there. Oh, that's interesting. It now detects it as a DX4. How the hell did that happen? Did I miss something? .5x86. These jumpers are all set. Those are set. Yeah, I missed one. I'm an idiot. Yeah. Back, save. We got into the BIOS, so that's a good sign. It's claiming to run at 160. Let's add another line to the... well, let's wait until we get past here, this. Which it doesn't seem to want to be doing. I guess that's not going to happen. Well, on that disappointment, I guess we will be ending the stream. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for helping me out with diagnosing all these issues we had. Thanks for well, just making sure we had a good time. Thanks, Weldon, for hanging out, for helping me. Thanks everybody else. Thanks RT and Raz for the subs. Thanks King for the raid. Shall we go and see if we can find anybody interesting to raid? Let me see, where do I do the raids? I don't know. I never did a raid before, so let's see about getting a raid in. Thanks, champ. There's nothing really interesting going on in science and technology. Let's go grab my following. See if there's anybody interesting we can toss a raid to. Yeah, let's go raid my mate Dr. Dre. He's playing some SnowRunner, so we will be we'll figure out how this raiding works if I press this button. And let's get this raid on. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks again. I'll see you later. Ciao, ciao. Let's go raid this Mr. Dre. Here we go. I'll stop my stream and toss in the raid. There we go.
Graph